Hello everyone, welcome to our review of the June 2022 Polestar 2 real-world driver data. If you're new here, this is where you'll find a monthly review of real-world data submitted by Polestar 2 drivers on the website at polestardriver.com. The link is in the description below. We have over 165,000 miles in the database. That's over 266,000 kilometers and covers more than 3,300 real-world trips. Our current report contains 48 pages of data and charts. All of this data is available in the report at polestardriver.com/reports, and I'll put that link in the description below also. Most of the report is self-explanatory. However, if you have any questions, please post them in the comments below and I will take a look and provide further information if required. If you would like to support this effort, please consider adding your trips via the website or by using the data from the journey log data which is in the car. There's a video to explain how to submit the journey log data, for which I will leave another link in the description below. Also, please like the video, subscribe to the channel and click on the notification bell to be informed when the next month's video is available. So let's get on with June data and see what we have. So here you can see that in June we had 327 trips submitted, and that covers 8,183 miles or 13,169 kilometers. Thank you to everyone who submitted trip data for June. So here we have a summary. This is a new page. Previously we had the summary of all data, which we have here. So this page gives you a summary of all the trips in the system, and this monthly summary will give you the data just for June. So here you can compare the different data that we collect, so based on model, preheating, wheel size, one pedal driving, aircon, country, road conditions, driving style and heat pump. So take a look at that and see how the data looks compared to your country or your numbers. Here we can see in the bottom left hand corner that in June 2022 the Netherlands had the most efficient trips, the equivalent of 4.6 miles per kilowatt hour. Here we have a list of top contributors in June, and thank you to each one of you who has submitted data. Here you will see your name and the equivalent, well, the information for your trips that you submitted in both miles and kilometers. This next page is a summary of all data collected in over all the months and currently contains over 3,300 trips. Here's the new report that we had last month, which just shows the most efficient trips for any trips over 3 miles for each of the users. So here you can see Westergaard DDK had one trip which showed the equivalent of 5.48 miles per kilowatt hour. Longest trips of the month, so longest single trip per user. There we have Chris having a trip of 387 miles. Looking at consumption, so June 2022 we are looking at 29.6, which is roughly the same as it was in May at 29.5. That's miles per kilowatt hour. Sorry, that is kilowatt hours per 100 miles, and the equivalent of that in kilometers is 18.3 kilowatt hours per 100 kilometers last month and 18.4 this month. That is for the long-range dual motor. If we take a look at the long-range single motor, we see that there's a slight decline from May to June, from 27 kilowatt hours per 100 miles to 26.5 in June, and the equivalent in kilometers is 16.8 kilowatt hours per 100 kilometers in May and 16.4 in June. For standard range single motor, we can see from May 25.4 kilowatt hours per 100 miles down to 24 kilowatt hours per 100 miles, and in kilometers it's 15.8 down to 14.9. If we turn that around and look at miles or kilometers per kilowatt hour, here we see in June it's gone from 3.5 to 3.6 miles per kilowatt hour, or 5.6 to 5.7 kilometers per kilowatt hour. That's for the long range dual motor. On the long range single motor, we can see it's roughly flat, 3.8 and 3.8. If we have a look at the numbers, it's actually 3.77 last month and 3.84 this month, and 6.1 to 6.2 in kilometers per kilowatt hour. For the standard range single motor, we can see that the June numbers are 4.3 miles per kilowatt hour, or 7.0 kilometers per kilowatt hour. So looking at range, we can see the standard range single motor with a smaller battery has a range of 266 miles, or 428 kilometers. Then in the second column we have the long range single motor, and the third column long range dual motor. You can compare these two better because it's the same battery size, and we can see that the single motor is getting a range of 288 miles compared to 267 for the dual motor. That's 463 kilometers versus 429 kilometers. Here we have the model comparison for the month of June, and we can see here we have a good amount of trips in each of the categories. So long range dual motor, long range single motor, and standard range single motor. And there you can definitely see the difference. So long range dual motor has a miles per kilowatt hour of 3.6, while the long range single motor has miles per kilowatt hour is 3.8, and the standard range single motor has a miles of 4.3 miles per kilowatt hour. You can see all of the metrics there in both miles, which are the blue boxes, and kilometers, which are the peach boxes. Down the bottom you'll see the top 3 contributors in each category. So looking at average temperature, because we know that this is a big factor with regard to range and efficiency. So there you can see that in June the average temperature for the trips logged is 20 degrees Celsius or 69 degrees Fahrenheit. The dotted line on there shows you the average across all the data in the system. Here we can see the average distance of the trips logged in the system for June, and if we have a look here, the average distance for the 217 trips logged in miles was 18 miles. And if we have a look at kilometers, then the average trip for 110 trips is 62 kilometers per trip. Overall, if we combine both, we get an average trip distance of 46 miles or 25 miles per trip for June. Don't forget, at the end of the report you will see a page for each country for people that have submitted data, and on there you can compare the real world range for the different models in your country. So that's it for our June 2022 summary. Thank you for joining me. Please remember to like the video, click the subscribe button, and click on the notification bell to be informed when next month's video is available. Thank you to everyone who submitted data to the system. It is a great contribution by the community, and it's interesting to see where my numbers compare to your numbers. So please continue to do so, and let's see how many trips we can get logged within this year. Thanks for joining me, and I'll see you again next month.